Okay, call to order the meeting. We've established a quorum, and before we get started, we're gonna have the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, we thank you for each and every day that you give us. We are so far from deserving the grace and the favor that you bestow on us each and every day in this country. And pray that you watch over this whole nation and the world, and with all the turmoil and things that's going on right now, you know what's best, and thy will be done. And for it is thy name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now, like I said, the reason I moved this meeting up is I was worried about the cell phone tower ordinance, because we're close to maybe getting a cell phone tower. And come to find out, after Jessica checked with MTS, when we done away with zoning and planning, that automatically done away with any ordinances or anything connected to them. So those restrictions are over and done with, and so they can put up a tower when they want to. So that's over and done with. That's why I called it early. As far as the next item, the second vote on the de-annexation, we actually don't have to do this by law, but MTS recommended us do it by law because every city in the state other than Saltillo makes them have a second reading. Our charter's so out of date, it said only one reading. So they said really to be safe, probably do us justice to go ahead and have the second reading on it and vote on it and make it where then nobody could come back on it. So do I have a motion that we have a second vote on the de-annexation and approve it?
I'm open to motion though.
Your second?
I second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Only other thing I have is approving the contract with Godwin and Associates that do our audits. And
I've laid a copy of, it was on the top of all your stacks. It's the same prices, looks like it's the same prices we were charged last year. I highlighted the second page.
$6,000. They're just about the only game in town.
yeah, do we need to vote on that and approve it?
I believe we do.
Okay. Y'all, do anybody have a question on that? Any discussion on that? They've been doing the audits here for probably 30, 40 years. They're out of Savannah. Tony Godwin and his associates. If you did want somebody else, you'd have to bid it out and rebid everything. They've done probably past 5 previous administrations here.
I don't have no problem with it. I've been doing it. If it's what it's normally been.
Anybody want to make a motion we accept the contract and,
I'll make a motion to accept it.
all right, for a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, like that. I do want y'all to look at that budget. I'm really proud of what y'all have done. You went a long way doing this, and I know some of you took some hard criticism. Everything that everybody was asking for before the election, they got in this budget. We've got a balanced budget. Not only have we got a balanced budget, we doubled the fire department's budget. With money ahead, and we cut the property tax totally out. We don't have any financial problems, none whatsoever. And we got a good amount of money in the general fund to back up anything as far as culverts and ditches if we get in a bind to do, and that's perfectly legal. We can take it out of that to do that. So that's something for you to take home and look over. And it's all line item. If in the next meeting, we'll have a public hearing to discuss it 30 minutes before the regular meeting, and then vote for approval if y'all don't want to make any changes. Those are, all of them are line item, everything is line item, there's no hidden nothing. And it's right there showing, what's gonna be available. And I don't, only thing I know has changed, did you take the money out of the fire department? I mean, the police department?
Yeah, there's no funds in there.
Huh?
There's no funds in there.
We took them out?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All the police funds
And
are
it's not the next meeting that we'll be doing.
Okay. All right. Okay, all right. But, I mean, if you got any questions now, we don't care to try to answer them, but that's something for y'all to study on to the next regular meeting. But everything is there, black and white, and, very excellent job y'all have done. And we're well ahead of where we were 12 months ago, by far.
We've still got a mayor's salary in this.
Not supposed to be.
No, it's zeroed under the 26.
Zero under 26.
Yeah.
So that last line would be out of budget.
I don't get anything. But y'all got plenty of time to study it over. And the next regular meeting at 5:30,
It's 6. They can vote to do the first approval, and then we'll have to do the public hearing in June, 30
so,
minutes.
okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
5:30.
so they can discuss it the next regular meeting. Okay. All right. And if you have any problems, you know,
We
this
got-
ain't set in stone, this is what Jesse and I have got together, and mostly Jesse.
The crunch,
Uh,
yeah, the crunch.
We've crunched some numbers and it don't look bad. And, we do have a problem at the school, and it's gonna be a major problem. I've got David Parker coming down to look at it. You can go in the basement and look up through the floor and see the sky under the library. There's a hole on the west side of the gym next to the roof where it's raining inside the building. They have left a wide open floor right beside the storm shelter. If you pull that window, look in there, probably a 12 by 12. They don't even have a floor or nothing. They've just got a kid or anybody could have fell in there and just got killed. But we've got that shut off, haven't we? Didn't they shut it off? They're supposed to have.
We didn't check, so I don't know.
But anyway, I told him, David Parker, to go ahead and address that, and in the meantime, we're meeting with Southwest and see if there's any money that's available that we might get to put on that school where there wouldn't have to be any local funds spent on. I figure we're not talking, I don't figure it's gonna be cheap. You know, that's just something to think about, that ain't nothing we can make any action on tonight, but I want you to be aware of, I always try to tell you what's going on. And that's the story on the school. There haven't been any maintenance to it down there in a while, in a long while. So, y'all can be thinking about that, some ways, ins and outs, or whatever. I really don't have anything else.
You want me to read my previous?
Yeah, you need to, I'm sorry, I jumped over you, and she's got 2 months of minutes here to read.
So the first one I'm gonna read is the public hearing on February 25th, 2025. Mayor Willis called the meeting to order. Alderman Delaney led the prayer. All aldermen were present. Kendall Haley said there has been a lot of back and forth about the roadway. His understanding was the county would take care of the roads. Has hopes that this property will be returned to the county. Will Banks would like to see this property returned to county to keep up with road maintenance. Don Buckingham spoke on running a 4-inch water line on his Half Moon property. Once property is annexed into the city limits, the town has 5 years to offer properties, city amenities. He does not believe that a 4-inch line could handle a fire hydrant. If his property is kept within the city limits, he must have a fire hydrant. Only 2 full-time residents reside at Half Moon. Customer of Saltillo Water Department was concerned about losing water if their property was de-annexed from the city limits. Alderman Brandon Harrington assured her that that was not a possibility considering 2/3 of the customers reside outside of the city limits. Alderman Brandon Harrington says there have been multiple roadways annexed into the city limits and the city cannot afford the routine maintenance on this. Another property in question is from the riverbank down to campsite, including road at campsite. There are over 2 miles of gravel roads in this area. This could cost the town over $150,000 per mile to maintain. This would be de-annexing residents on the east side of campsite. Alderman Withers inquires if both locations would be presented to de-annex together or separately. Alderman Withers discussed HOA at Davies Landing. Don Robertson says anyone can start a HOA with enough people and a charter in place. Discussion on the Brownsfield Bragg grant. It is a free grant in which the state would have the authority to check people's properties for environmental hazards. Repairs would come at owner's expense. Alderman Brandon Harrington made a motion to resolve the Bragg grants. Second, Alderman Chris Harrington. Vote as follows: yes, Alderman Brandon Harrington and Chris Harrington. Mayor Willis, no. Alderman Delaney, Stack, and Withers. Alderman Stack made a motion to adjourn. Second, Alderman Withers. Vote 5-0, motion carries. The second ones I'm gonna read are from the regular meeting held March 3rd, 2025. All aldermen were present. Mayor Willis calls meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance prayer led by Alderman Withers. Roads were deeded to the county over 20 years ago. Brent Lay did not know his property had been annexed into the city until he started receiving tax notices. Alderman Brandon Harrington made a motion to de-annex properties in question. Second, Alderman Chris Harrington. Vote 5-0, motion carried. Discussion on Brownsfield grant. After discussion, Alderman Brandon Harrington made a motion to remove Bragg grant. Second, Alderman Chris Harrington. Vote 4-0, motion carried. Alderman abstained, Alderman Stack. Alderman Brandon Harrington made a motion to adjourn. Second, Alderman Withers. Vote 5-0, motion carried.
Do I have a motion, we accept both set of minutes?
I make motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, like sign. Unanimous. Oh,
Financial report.
I don't know anything else.
The financial reports. Financial reports.
You got it?
They've got them, yeah. They're
Yeah.
behind the minutes.
Okay. I didn't know they had that. Yeah, all that is, you talking about the checking account and all that.
Technically, the one at the very back, the bookkeeping ones, the
Go ahead.
financial.
Go ahead and explain.
Would you all look through your financial reports, which are at the, you've got bank statements in the middle of the packets, but the financial report is the last set.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. My fault. My medicine's kicking in on. Y'all see what she's talking about?
So we have them for March and April.
Yes, end of February and end of March, yes.
Y'all look that over and see if you have any questions. If you do, speak up. Should have a copy of every bank account, every check written for the last 2 months. If there's any questions, speak up.
So we've got a cell phone from AT&T,
Jessica.
just one
She,
phone.
we went from 4 phones down to 1, yes. she's got
And it's
one, because
around-
why she's got this phone too, is when it rings at City Hall, if she's at home, she can answer this phone.
And it's around, what, 75 or 80 a month?
80 a month, yeah.
And I told her to do away with her phone and use this phone for personal and business. And if she's gonna answer her phone at home or at City Hall at Sardis, she ought to be able to use this phone.
Oh, I agree.
with her phone.
Now, this ain't, I was just gonna throw this out.
Sure,
I've got a work phone too, utility pays for mine.
right.
I had AT&T for years. I swapped to Cricket, cause it works off the AT&T tower, and it was half price. And I got unlimited everything.
You're fixing to have a whole lot.
I got
Carry.
unlimited
You're
everything.
fixing to have like Cricket, T-Mobile, AT&T, and probably Verizon within the next
We-
few months.
We got Cricket and Verizon.
This tower is gonna be a tower owned by a private company. They don't do cell phones, they rent out cell towers. And they just offer them, here it is, and if y'all wanna rent it and get in on it, you can. And most of these things they're 250 foot high, and, your phone service is gonna be increased tremendously. Any more questions? And yes, we'll look into that, Brandon. We don't have, do we have a contract on that phone? We can change it anytime.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
and
that much money, but
Well, it's
I'm just saying, I had AT&T for years, I swapped to Cricket, I actually like Cricket better.
Now, would that go with the phone system here in City Hall just as good? Keep the
And
same-
I
we have to
kept
keep-
my same number.
Big say, we got to, cause it's
I
tied.
kept the same number.
It's tied into City Hall. See,
Kept
this-
the same number.
When this phone rings in there, her phone rings, day or night.
I got better service with
Yeah.
Cricket.
That's good. I mean, if we can save money, we save it, the way I look at it.
I mean, I don't care if you're happy with it, I just throwing that
No.
out there. That I swapped,
You don't-
I've been on Cricket for 5 or 6 or 7 years,
Really?
and I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean.
You're gonna see probably plenty of options before long in cell phones. I know T-Mobile's gonna be one of them. Anybody seeing anything they got a question on? All bank accounts should be there too, and written checks.
This is back on the budget.
Sure.
I seen
Well,
2,000.
let's go ahead and get the financial report done first. If anybody don't have a problem with it, you can make the motion anytime to approve it. And if you have a problem with it, speak up. If you need to know what went where, anywhere that you see you're in question about, ask. That's why we're here.
What's next, Tibia?
The office funds. We've got-
Extremely
We
high.
got 4 lines,
Yeah. How much is it? It's, so much
so much longer than a couple, and then they gave us a discount, which
yeah. I forget how much it
I think
is.
it's 160 something.
And we're under contract on that, like some of the other.
I just
stuff.
didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
That's what it is.
I don't have a problem
So
with
the
it.
phone system being under contract. And we can do away with that later on. Oh, and by the way, while y'all are looking at the financial report, the police camera, if they contracted for $38,000, we've done been instructed, do not make any more payments on it. So they said, no, they said just locked in stone, that couldn't be changed. Well, there again, they goofed up again, they didn't set it in stone, we're getting it fixed.
Well, it's a good thing it wasn't said.
It's like $38,000 thrown away.
So that is over and done with, the body
Well,
cameras.
it ain't in writing yet, but they done told our city attorney don't make any more payments. In the process of making a deal.
Okay,
So when they tell you not to make any more payments, pretty good job doing that.
yes.
Anybody see any problems with the financial report? Anybody wanna make a motion to accept the financial report?
Another motion.
There's a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye? All opposed, like sign? Unanimous? Anytime the vote's not unanimous, I'll ask for a voice vote to make sure it's whatever one is. That's about all I have unless anybody has anything else.
On this budget, I
Sure.
see,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
I'm
I
sorry.
see $2,000 for street signs. I know that our street signs here are almost non-existent.
They're gone. They haven't upkept them in 25 years.
And I don't know this, so that's why I'm asking. Is that gonna be enough?
It's gonna be close. G&C, believe it or not, have signs that you can get. And, you've seen like these county signs and kinda make your own. They're not like, something you'd see in New Orleans, but they're good enough for Saltillo, and at least we'll have a street sign. We ain't had none in 25 years on most streets.
Oh, I
And
just
it'll
wanted,
be a visible sign.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
ensure that we had enough in the budget, cause I knew we
Yeah.
needed.
And it might come up, we need a little more, and we can amend the budget if we do. As far as stop signs and turn signs and all that, when I was mayor, we got a sign grant, and we supplied the whole city with everything they needed, and we ended up with surplus. Well, Lydell Dixon brought it to my attention the other day, y'all stored them signs in my barn back there behind my house 20 years ago. So they're still back there, and we're hoping the ones we didn't use are still in good shape, and probably a few $1,000s worth of signs back there that we're gonna, in post, we're gonna go get and put up. So,
Dave, can I say something?
sure,
Money's tight in the street aid fund, I guess you saw the revenues, not too much, so we budgeted 10,000 in the general fund, cause it is legal to do street repairs in the general fund.
So we could pull some money out of that for signs.
I'll ask, but I would assume that would cover signs as well as street repairs, so. do that.
and I told them correct, for coverage and clean out ditches, that can actually come out of general fund.
Yeah, we've got 10,000
Yeah,
budgeted.
so that won't have to be budgeted. If we got ditches stopped up or covered stopped up under roads, which is entirely the city's responsibility, we can pull it out of the general fund and get some fixed. Anything over, I think it's $5,000 will have to be bid out and, done, with the bid, but hopefully none of that stuff, each project will be less than that. We got a neighbor that does things pretty cheap. He's done a lot of work already with all this coal patch. Y'all been seeing it. He ain't charged us a dime to put it out. That's about as cheap a labor as you're gonna get. And Tim Moore. And, Tim's a good friend, a good neighbor, and he said, all I wanna do out of it is help the community.
That's
We
good.
need more people like that.
Tim's
Anybody
a
have
good
any?
one.
Yeah, Tim's one of the best. One of the best. Do I have anything else? Y'all got anything?
Yes,
Speak
if you
up.
don't mind.
We generally take it when you get here, do it first, but go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I'm Chuck Tarwater. Most of y'all know who I am. But I wanted to thank y'all on behalf of Tennessee River Rendezvous for all y'all's support. This year was a great success, I believe, and I think before it's a whole lot of the success to y'all.
Well,
Work
the
that y'all did.
success goes to Mike Field.
And Mike did a tremendous job
Yeah.
as well.
In the past, people's tried to take the credit away
Sure.
from Mike.
And
Mike is the
two-
man that established this thing. Mike is the man that's got the franchise on it. This is Mike's project.
That's right.
Everybody else is kicking in to help Mike have a wonderful project for Saltillo.
Well, I just want to let you know it's appreciated very much.
Well,
More
you
so
don't know
than
how much
realize.
we appreciate bringing 5,000 or 6,000 people into Saltillo.
And two, this thing is rated right now in this magazine, the fourth largest event in Tennessee.
The fourth recommended event to go
Yeah.
to.
in the Cypress magazine this month, it's a big article in it.
Let me say something else too while I was there. Ate lunch with some of the politicians while I was there. And one of them, you know, he's the mayor of one of the bigger cities around here, and I'm not gonna call on names, get him in trouble, and he said, David, y'all are having the same problem we're having with people coming from out of town, bringing in big ideas, wanting to tax everybody, and change your town, and he said, we're not listening to them, it's a big problem, and, he said, I know how y'all feel, and he said, you know, Jesse and I went to a tourism meeting here a while back, and one of the main things I learned, tourism is money that people coming through and spending money and leaving, and that's your best money.
That's right.
People coming in on the weekend, spending a little money here and there, it's not your main source. When you get into tourism money, you tap money, that's free money. It's big money. And did you know that Hardin County is one of the leading counties for tourism money around? And, they're doing a very good job with their tourism. For
Yeah,
sure.
they're doing a real good job.
Yeah. And, Mike is gonna be over River Day. And, he'll make it a big event. And,
I mean, we have our different flaws that come about, different things and complaints, but you tell me any of
you
it.
tell me something that somebody ain't gonna fuss about.
That's right.
When
Anytime.
you got an event that size,
Yes.
you're not gonna get through it without some kind of complaint.
And that's
from
sad,
somewhere.
but that's how it is,
That's the
yeah.
way it is, that's life.
But as good as, I mean, it's just like some of them were talking about while we was eating dinner. This is for the children, it's
right.
educational. Why would you be against anything for education for children?
And there was some comments made too, and it's good comments, it's not bad comments.
Right.
That, this came from school teachers, and it was from a surrounding area, that, if they had anything to do with it, they would have kids here because they can learn more in one day than they can learn in a whole year in school.
Well, just like Henderson County, they got TCAPs that week. Chris will tell you that, isn't that right?
Yeah.
So that keeps them from participating, that's several thousand students right there, you know.
But when you get people coming from Maine and all them different places that far, and they
27
don't book to
states.
come back for next year, plus bringing people with them, it
Yeah.
just keeps growing.
Well, I, for one, greatly appreciate what was done through the project, and, it's probably the biggest thing Saltillo's ever done.
He's bringing a lot of people here to be ashamed to ever lose.
Yes, and it's not gonna die.
I hope not.
It's gonna continue. It's gonna get bigger.
Of course, I'm still recovering from it, because I know Jonathan is and several others.
I can see it turning into a 3-day event pretty easily, you
Yes.
know, without a doubt. And seeing Greyhound buses come in here
That's right.
sometime.
Hell, that's what he's saying, he said, I'm afraid it's gonna turn into a 3-day thing.
Yeah.
That's just,
And it almost
and like I
has to.
say, this is not people coming in and trying to just run you over in your town and stuff. This is tourism money. People come down here and spend money. They spend money, we get their money, then they leave and move on, go somewhere else. That's the kind of money you want.
And we're not
That's the
getting
most
3,000
important money.
people out of Saltillo. We're not getting 3,000 out of Saltillo. Like you said, it's people from all over.
That's right.
And then the reenactors, you got 27 states. people
Absolutely.
Coming from. So we're getting a name even further, I mean, nationwide
Right.
versus just the local region. We're
Right.
getting nationwide. So
It's-
it's something to be proud of, and I think this town has something to
It's
brag
amazing to me. They opened my eyes, the meeting we went to, it really opened my eyes on really what tourism is and how much money is involved. I didn't realize,
Yeah.
I just didn't realize it.
But again, I just wanted to thank all of y'all for your work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Maybe
hard
we
work
can
went in.
support it even more later on, better.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all coming. Anybody have anything else? Anybody wanna make a motion, we adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, like sign.